Hi everyone, welcome to my Friday blog post. This Friday is extra special because it is the launch of my newest book, Paid to Dance. So here it is, Paid to Dance, Stripping Past and Present, is released today. So it's available right now in paperback and Kindle ebook from Amazon. So you can jump on now and you can grab yourself a copy. It's been an incredibly busy month, an exciting month. Originally I hadn't planned to publish this book until the 20th of August, but I've had to bring it forward about 2 weeks to coincide with the Byron Writers Festival. So it's been a mad rush to get the book published in time and get copies delivered to me in time. But it's all done now. It's all sorted. The book is published. The book is now available, and I'm leaving for Byron tomorrow, and I will be in the self-published marquee at the Byron Writers Festival on Sunday from 9:30 in the morning until 11:30. So I'll be there with all of my books. I'll be there with Paid to Dance, and my other 2 books, The Wilted Rose and The New Neighbours as well. Selling the books, talking about the books, sharing the books with the public. I'm extremely excited. It's my first experience at a writers' festival. So yeah, I'll be there from 9:30 to 11:30 on Sunday morning. So if you're down at the festival, I do hope that you pop by and give me a visit. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time this morning just telling you a little bit about the process of creating this book and writing this book. So I did start working on the book in 2013. So it's been about 3 years in the making. 2013 is when I started to collect the stories from the dancers. I had so many publishing dates and they just got pushed further and further along because this book just developed into something that I hadn't even originally imagined. Originally I had actually planned to have a lot of these stories inserted at the start of each chapter of the second book that's going to be in this series, which is focusing more on the stories of one particular dancer. But I along the process, I decided, hang on, these stories are actually really fantastic and they deserve to be in their own book. So I then decided to publish it as its own individual book. And then the ideas kept flowing from there. I then decided, hey, it'd be really wonderful to compile a history of this industry. And that was an incredible experience doing all the research. I learnt so much, like all about the exotic histories from cultures throughout the world. So many cultures throughout the world have got exotic dance as part of their history, from the Middle East to Europe to the UK to America, Australia and New Zealand. It's just been really, really an amazing thing to read about and research. It's definitely, I think, my favourite part of the book. It did take quite a while to compile all the stories from the girls as well. I first started talking to the girls in 2013. Mostly, I did go into clubs and ask who was willing to speak with me, which was a very nerve-wracking experience. I paced outside some places for an hour before I was actually, got up the nerve to go inside and actually ask. So it was quite confronting. But I was really glad that I did it in the end because I had got some fantastic stories. So most of the stories were conversed through email and messaging. I was able to communicate with the participants through that and refine their stories and get their details. So I thought I'd share a few of the questions. I compiled a questionnaire for each dancer. Well, for all the contributors really, even those that are not dancers, I compiled a unique questionnaire for them to answer for me. I narrowed it down to about 5 questions to try and keep it nice and simple because people are busy, and to really just keep it to the point. So an example, I asked them, I was only planning on using their stage names, so their false names that they used at work. So, looking at the book, some of the names you'll see, there's 2 names and they're divided by sort of a slash. That means that the dancer used 2 different names at different stages of their time as a dancer. So their name, how long they danced for, what did they do before they became a dancer, and why did they start dancing, and did they have an ideal time frame or an end goal in mind, like, you know, until I finish university, until I've saved enough money for my overseas trip or for a car or something like that. Also, what was their first experience on the stage like? And also, what was their first experience in a private booking, so like a lap dance, what was that like? They're very, very interesting parts of their stories indeed. Also, what was their best and worst shifts financially? It was incredible to see the contrast of potential earnings amongst these girls. Like, you know, some girls would make on average $4,000 a night, and then on other nights girls would make less than $20. You know, it was an impossible thing to be able to predict what kind of night they were going to have. And the contrast between the potential earnings was just mind-blowing. There was no knowing really how it was going to go. It was just incredible to read about that. Also, like the emotional toll that would take on you can't imagine. Other questions as well was like the best memory that the girls had of their time as dancers, and a lot of those memories revolved around spending time with the other dancers and just the fun that they had while they were at work. A lot of the time it wasn't actually anything to do with the customers. It was the friends that they made while they were working in this industry, and just that real sisterhood that they were a part of while they were there. And also, what are they doing now? Some of the girls are still dancing. Most of them have moved on into other areas, other careers, other areas of their lives. But it's just incredible. You could never know who a dancer is just walking along the street. They're just everyday people. It was really, really incredible to read the responses to those questions. So other things that I can tell you about as well, the process of writing the book. So yeah, it did take a long time to compile those stories, like conversing back and forth between people, and compiling those stories, refining those stories, getting them edited. It did take a long time, so I only finished that up last year in 2015. I also decided, like I said, to get perspectives from other people, so I was able to chat with the partner of one of the dancers, the mother of one of the dancers, and also a customer of one of the clubs, and a club manager of one of the clubs. So part of my mission for the book was to create a all-rounded view of this book, an all-rounded insight. So although most of the stories are from dancers, I did want to get the perspective of the other people that are involved in this industry as well. For example, the customers and the club managers, who can tend to get a little bit of a bad rap a lot of the time. So that's why I was interested to sort of get a perspective from them, just to give everyone who is involved in this industry, whether it's as a worker or as a patron, or a member of house staff. I wanted to give them all an opportunity to have their say, so it's a fair, well-rounded view into this world of exotic dancing. So that was very interesting doing that as well. So what more can I say? It was a very eye-opening experience writing this book. As I said, it is book 1 of a 3-book series. The next installment is going to be it's inspired by a lot of different experiences and stories from a lot of dancers that I have experienced during the period of time that I have been writing this book. But it is compiled into a fictional book with a fictional character, inspired by all these other stories that I've read about it. I've used all that to create a fictional character which explores a more one-on-one experience. So it explores one woman's journey over her time of working as a dancer, and that story is over a 5-year period. It's going to be split up into 2 books. So the next installment is going to come out in February, date TBC, and the 3rd and final installment is going to come out in August of 2017. So as soon as this weekend is over at the Byron Writers Festival, it's going to be on to the next thing. I'm going to send the next manuscript off to my editor and start working on that, ready for publishing in 2017 in February. So once again, thank you so much for everyone's support in the development of this book. I want to say a big thank you to all the contributors. It was my absolute priority to maintain the privacy of all the contributors as well. Like, for example, I have not named any names of any clubs. I've only allowed a dancer to say what city they worked in, or a state or a country which they worked in. They could be as vague as they felt they wanted to be, because I wanted their privacy to be absolutely paramount. So they could say which city they worked in, or they could just say the state or the country which they worked in. It was totally up to them how private they wanted to be. So yeah, I really want to say thank you to all of them. It's a very private thing to open up about, but it's just resulted in some really incredible stories and a really exciting book. Thank you to everyone that has just gotten behind this book. I'm excited because all of you are excited. I'm as excited to release this book as all of you are to read it. I've just had some wonderful feedback, some wonderful encouragement and enthusiasm about this book. So I really hope that you do enjoy. Please do jump on and give it a review on Amazon. I'm not ashamed to ask for that. It's incredibly helpful for authors, especially emerging authors, to be gathering those reviews. They don't necessarily have to be good reviews. They can be terrible reviews. It's an honest review system. It's just a really, really wonderful thing that you can do. It doesn't take long at all. It can be as long or as short as you like on Amazon with your review system. But if you could take a few minutes once you finish the book to jump on and do that, that would be very much appreciated. So I am going to be reposting a few of my other previous posts related to this book, which just go into a little bit more depth of each part of the book throughout the day. So do join me for those posts, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you enjoy the book, and thank you so much for your support. I'm really excited to be releasing it to you.